As many of you are celebrating graduations at this time of year, in this episode I have some counsel and wisdom from a couple of my children. Stay tuned. Hello friends, Pastor Tim Westermeyer here, Senior Pastor of St. Philip Deacon in the western suburbs of Minneapolis. It's good to be with you as always today. I got a few things on my mind, I guess, today. One, I'm taping this on my wife Amy and my 32nd wedding anniversary, so that's exciting. That's actually not, well, that's a really important thing for me. That's not the most important thing I want to talk about today. The theme for today is actually graduations. I'll get to that in a second, but before I do, just a very quick note to people who are members or friends of St. Philip Deacon, just to let you know that we are still making really good progress on our 2 open position searches for our next pastor and for our next organist. As a matter of fact, I just got off the phone before taping this on a phone call related to part of that search, so still nothing to report, but again, I just can't say strongly enough how excited I am about the people we're talking to and the next chapter of our life together. So continue to keep that search, that process, those processes, those searches in your prayers. Okay, so now to graduation. I'm thinking about graduation, of course, because it's late in May, and so it's the time for graduations. 4 specific things sort of have me thinking about it. One is that our youngest son, Andrew, was actually at the commencement or graduation for West Point last Saturday, so that was his first opportunity to participate in that. This weekend at St. Philip Deacon, we're doing a blessing of our high school graduates, which we do every year at this time. And the day that we are publishing this, the local high school that my children went to, Wayzata High School, is holding its commencement or graduation ceremonies. That's May 31st. And our our daughter, Sarah, who graduated, we've talked about her before, she has profound special needs. She graduated from something called a transition program this time last year, which means she's been doing another kind of program for the past year. And the leaders of that transition program invited her to come back to be a speaker. She's nonverbal, so she can't speak, but she was able to tape earlier this week some recordings on her iPad, sort of that generate voices based on stuff that is typed in, which they taped her pushing buttons, basically reporting on what she's been doing. So that video will be shown for the transition program graduation this year, which is kind of cool, actually. And she loved that program. She loves the program she's in now. I understand. I was not with her when she taped it, but I understand she was a rock star and moved through all of the buttons perfectly and enjoyed the process. So I'm thinking again about graduation for all those reasons, and I want to lift up again, actually, a year ago, I mentioned Sarah's the speaker for tomorrow's, or you're seeing it today, it doesn't matter, transition graduation. A year ago, Andrew was the speaker for the high school graduation, and he actually, the theme of his talk was his sister, Sarah. I think I may have talked about that at some point. We'll link to that speech. Maybe this sounds like proud dad moment, and if it does, I guess I'm not going to apologize for that because I am a proud dad as it happens. But it was a really thoughtful, beautiful speech talking about what Sarah had taught him as his older sister with, again, profound special needs, who will never live independently, who has all kinds of challenges that those of us who are more typical do not have. And yet she's been an incredible blessing and has taught both Andrew and Luke and Sam, her other 2 brothers, as well as me and Amy, all kinds of important lessons about life. So I'll just lift up the 3 points that Andrew made in that speech last year as a kind of counsel or advice to all of us, but maybe particularly to those of you who are graduating at this time of year. And we will link to the actual speech if you're interested in listening to it. Again, I think it's probably worth a listen. He probably says what I'm about to say a little better than I'm going to say it, honestly. So he lifted up again 3 lessons that Sarah taught him. First, was that she is a friend with everyone. We often talk that she's the mayor of Plymouth, the city that we live in, because she knows everyone. We go to Target, and Amy and I, with Sarah, we cannot get out of there without her fist bumping or giving high fives to 5 or 10 different people, all of whom know her from some walk of life. So she's friends with everyone. She assumes the best of everyone. She likes people for who they are. That's the first point. Second point, Sarah is unashamed to ask for help. Right? I mean, she's aware at times that she needs help, and she's not embarrassed by that. It doesn't bother her. So if there is someone around who can help her with her socks or her shoes or help her to eat or do whatever, she's happy to request that help. And there's something beautiful about that as well that's sort of contrary to maybe the pridefulness that some of us sometimes feel about needing other people's help. Sarah recognizes that that's part of her life, and she is glad to invite other people to help her. And then the third point that Andrew made, and I don't know if I'm getting these in the same order he did, I think I am, is that she is happy to celebrate other people's successes. And this is one of the reasons other people are so drawn to her, I think. She doesn't make people defensive. She doesn't make people competitive, because everyone she meets basically is more talented and smarter than Sarah, and more athletically gifted. And so people meet Sarah, and they aren't feeling like they're in competition with her. And Sarah also doesn't feel like she's in competition with anyone else. And so if someone does well, she is delighted for them. And she's happy to let them know it with a back slap or a high five or a knuckles. And Andrew's point, I think, broadly speaking, was, wouldn't we all do well in life, going through life, looking at other people as friends, being willing to ask for help, and celebrating other people's successes? And I think he was on to something really important with all of those points. Those of you who are graduates will no doubt hear all kinds of other great wisdom at your commencement ceremonies. I hope you do. I hope you can put all of that wisdom into practice. We will look forward to praying for you and sending you off with our blessings here at St. Philip Deacon. And know that we're keeping you in our prayers as you enter this next chapter of your life. Thanks as always for spending a little time with me today. And as always, be well, stay in touch, and God bless.